Python. YouTube didn't show me the video on my recommendation when you started. Anyways, I'm implementing radix sorta in C right now. What's that? More specifically, strict C89, C90, ASNI, C. What is this interesting language that you're talking about? Okay. Monero apparently had something. This could be a nothing. Burger. What is a block size? Radix is sort of like a super fast and easy sorting algorithm. Oh, C89, C90, and SIC is a version of C from 80 and 90. But what about 2025 C? What about modern C? What about multimillionaires? What about 8 inches in thick? I just got something to do real quick before I forget. Before I forget. Bum 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 bum. That one Slipknot song. Before I forget. Before I forget. Before I forget. Before I forget these. Okay. Did you speak in Country Taylor? Country Taylor? Shit, I misspelled 1989. Corey Taylor went country when Stone Sour happened. So earlier, Monero developers considered a 32 megabyte block size cap. This is about 19 years ago. Some people are saying it's FUD. Some people are saying it's cool. Some people are saying it's gay. Some people are saying it's not. We're going to decide. And then we're going to kind of figure out what the fuck a block is, because that's important. This isn't really just a cryptocurrency thing. This is just like how cryptocurrency works in general, but kind of figuring this out can maybe help you decide what direction your favorite illegal IRS coin is heading in. So Kaba Nerve from the Monero Research Lab proposed capping the block size at 32 MB to address bottlenecks revealed during the FCMP++ privacy upgrade test. Ordinary computers struggle beyond this due to bandwidth and propagation issues, risking the sync halts or spam vulnerabilities. While supporters see it as a practical safeguard, still far beyond Bitcoin's capacity, critics worry that it echoes past scaling conflicts and could limit future growth. The idea emerged from December 3rd Monero Research Lab meeting with no decision yet reached. So first we've got to understand, what is a block size? Block size in crypto refers to the maximum amount of data measured in bytes, so megabytes, that single block can contain within a blockchain. This limit determines how many transactions can be included in each block, directly influencing the transaction throughput and the network efficiency. For Bitcoin, the block size limit was initially 1 megabyte, which restricted the number of transactions per block and could lead to congestion and higher fees during peak usage. However, after the activation of Surrogate Witness, SegWit, in 2017, blocks are now measured by weight rather than size, allowing a maximum of block weight of 4 million weight units, equivalent to a theoretical maximum of 4 megabytes or bits, MB. Damn it! Which one is MB and which one is MB? This change effectively increased the capacity for transactions while aiming to maintain decentralization by limiting the resource required to validate blocks. I think someone pointed out that megabits and megabytes should be, I think somebody said that these could be completely merged, and it would stop the confusion or something. Bit is a unit of digit information equal to 1,000 bits, and primarily used to measure data transfer speeds, such as internet download and upload rates, often expressed in megabits per second. A megabyte, on the other hand, is a unit of digital storage equal to 8,000 bits, or 8 megabits, and used to measure file size, storage capacity, and memory. The key difference lies in the application. Megabits are used for speed, while megabytes are used for size. Hence, there are 8 bits in a byte, and a megabyte is equivalent to 8 megabits, meaning that to convert megabits to megabytes, you divide by 8. Fucking hate numbers. Numbers are gay. Okay, so not that. What is a block size? Okay, so we know what a block size is. It's the maximum amount of data measured in bytes that a single block can contain within the blockchain. And then there was this. Not that. This. Nope. Here we go. How Monero solved the block size problem that plagues Bitcoin. Local Monero will be... Oh, no. Okay, here we go. It's kind of like... It is highly recommended that the reader have read articles why Monero has tail emissions. Yeah, we'll read that. And Monero mining, what makes random max so special? Yeah, we'll read that too. We'll read those first. What are we going back to? Magic, MTG, and chess. I might do chess maybe sometime. Itty. Maybe no more. No Magic the Gathering. I have a perspective why I'm gonna change. I changed to doing this more, and it makes sense. It may not make sense now, but it will make sense in the future. Like once in a while, I might do chess. Like maybe like once a month, I might do like some. Do you play poker? No, God, no. I think actually people that say they're professional. What's your daily driver? Void Linux. Because it's based, and I hate System D. And Debian, and everything about it. I think actually professional poker players are made up. I think it's rigged. My tinfoil hat kicks on when people are like, I'm good at poker. I don't see how you can be good or bad at poker. You just got to kind of like fucking, I don't know. When people are like, I'm a good poker player, I'm like, okay. You just don't know how, you show no emotions. Congratulations. I don't get it. I don't get the hype around poker. I'm okay at blackjack, kind of. It's rigged, how? It just seems like a rigged game. I mean, how's boxing rigged? I mean, part of it's luck for sure. I think most of it is. I think it's just made up to launder money through through the casino. Look, later, Billy. Look, I have no evidence for it. Billy leaves early because he's old and tired. And he's compiling C. I have zero evidence and logical reasoning why I think, but definitely part of it's skill for sure. Look, people say that. What's that? People say NASCAR has skill, and I see zero skill in NASCAR and F1. I don't see a skill. I'm not saying the skill isn't there. I can be 100% wrong. But like everyone has a hill they're going to die on. I have a slight hill that I'm going to die on. I think almost every sport is rigged. Even the high competitive, like high stakes, high cost, and I think most of them don't really have a skill. And I'll accept the hate for it. I'll accept the hate for it, and I'll accept that I am wrong. But just deep down, I'm like, that's rigged. I don't see the skill. Like I think there's more industry plants in music now than there has ever been. I think there's a lot of artists that are industry planted. There are some that are, the skill is patience and waiting for a good hand and play the right hand. But yeah, it's like 60-40 skill. Yeah, it probably is. There's probably skill. I'm just like, it doesn't exist. Like, my only delusional tinfoil hat is industry plants in the music, and all sports are rigged. Some I see, like, I don't see the hype. I don't see the purpose. Like baseball. Who the fuck watches baseball? That's so boring. There's probably skill, though. I'm just, like I said, everyone's got a hill and a conspiracy theory they're willing to die for. Mine is all sports are rigged. I don't see the skill. Like, how is being tall a fucking skill? Look at basketball. Some of the best, highest paid basketball players don't really have skill. They can get dunked on if they play face. They don't have to because they're fucking tall. How are you telling me boxing isn't rigged? I want you to look me dead in the eyes and tell me that boxing isn't rigged. Look, it's not. I'm not saying they're good takes or they're thought out or they're educated. Do you believe in the EMF EMFS being bad. I don't know what that is actually. I'll look at that real quick. Oh, this? No. I don't think that's bad. I think radio waves are fine. We're exposed to tons of radio waves on a constant basis. That it's not even, if it was bad, humans would live short. Our lifespan would be shorter by now. We've been blasting electric radio waves, radiation gets blasted from the sun all the time at such an alarming rate. Motherfucker, how are we living longer? Look, if this is your like, I can't be convinced otherwise, I'm gonna die on the hill. I get it. Everyone's got one. All right. Yeah, I used to believe in it, and now I don't. Well, wow, that's good. Honestly, good growth. I still think boxing's rigged. Yeah, I think most people, because they don't understand it. It's completely understand. I don't understand sports. That's probably why I don't believe that there's a skill and it's rigged. I don't watch sports. I'm not educated enough about it. I watch, like, bare minimum, like, maybe some contact sports, but that's just, like, hit or miss. I just think they're a waste of time. And again, what I think is a waste of time is, I mean, I use Gen 2, so I clearly don't know how to manage my time well. When most people think of sets Monero apart, they think Monero's privacy technology. Indeed, most would consider the privacy and the fungibility that it unlocks as Monero's defining trait and the main weapon that it brings into the right when compared to other coins. What most people may not know is that Monero contains other protocols different from Bitcoin and its derivatives that some might argue are just important as Monero's privacy technologies in the article. We'll look at some of the tail emissions. So first, let's define the terms. A tail emission is an unincreasing subsidy of block rewards. Even after the last Monero is minted, in other words, Monero's block reward will never fall to zero, but rather fall until it reaches 0.67 XMR per block, and then stay that forever. Miners will always be paid to mine Monero and will never have to solely rely on a fee market. Interesting. I think we've went over this before, but it's always good to get a good recap. But let's take a step back for a moment and look at mining on a high level. Monero miners are incentivized to secure the network by mining hashes. This is true. This prevents a 51% attack and also secures the network, and it also does something. I think it increases something else. But let's take a step back for a moment. The incentive is the opportunity to make Monero if they find a new block. This Monero is awarded in two ways. Firstly, the miner receives a paid fees of every user who paid for the transactions, including the block. These are transaction fees that you pay when you send transactions. Secondly, the miner receives a predetermined amount of Monero from the protocol itself. In most cases, this block reward is substantially higher than the user transaction fees and is where the miners make the most of their money. The block reward serves to keep miners financially invested in the chain's security, but also get new coins into circulation. Hence, why they're based. In most cryptocurrency protocols, the block reward is set to decrease over time. Most Bitcoin derivatives have what are called halvings, predetermined points in the time where the block reward halves, such as from 20 BC to 10 BC. These halvings happen every few years, and every time it happens, the security on the network decreases. Why? Well, we encourage the reader to read our article on mining RandomX, and in doing so, they will learn that mining is a race. Block rewards are only given out to those who find a block, and that are many entities in competition to do so. When the rewards are higher, more people are interested in playing this game. Whereas rewards are lower, less people, even those with the equipment to do so, will be willing to use their time and resources on chances to win a measly prize. This is something that people don't understand, that Bitcoin now is at the point when you purchase hardware, you are essentially in the who makes more money, the gold people or the shovel makers. On maybe a consistent average, the gold people look like they could probably be making more money because they are obtaining gold and they have to hold it, but they have to hold it for a longer time. So it's kind of like a question I've thought about in terms of economic policy. Who won the gold rush? Was it the miners or was it the people that were making the pickaxe and the shovels, etc.? Everyone likes to believe and say the shovel, but I have a different thought. If that person selling 10 shovels maybe a day for the gold rush for, let's say, 10 years, and then there's no more gold, and say hypothetically this gold rush ends, you fundamentally do not have... I get the premise of it, and I know where people are getting with it, but you fundamentally just lost a ton of business. If Bitcoin becomes unprofitable to mine, people aren't buying miners, but guess what? The people that did mine Bitcoin and are still mining it are generally probably the more profitable ones. The people that held the gold when they got the gold and are still able to mine the gold because they have the technology now to do it, they probably made it in the long term a better return than the people that made it in the short term, because most probably didn't take their money and reinvest it and make it grow. I know where the premise they're getting is, you know, if you hand 10 people a shovel each, maybe only one or two might find gold. So it's like, whatever, I'm not really going to FOMO. But in reality, I still have that shovel. That shovel is mine, and I can continue to mine if I want to. But I will say that when the equipment starts getting into the tens of 20s and 30s, 40s of thousands, no one's going to drop that kind of money to compete with giant whales and big miners. That would be kind of retarded if you think about it, because you have like a 3-year return, maybe 4-year, 5 years. Say like it takes 6 years to return your money back, depending on electricity costs, etc. And the equipment. I used to do like pretty heavy crypto mining on some stuff, like on some coins, but most of them were to exchange for like Ethereum at the time, when it was really low, and then I would take my Ethereum and exchange it for Bitcoin when I was a Bitcoin stan. But I digress. There are problems with ASIC miners, essentially, because at current 2025, most people are not making their money back with miners. They are losing money because it's expensive and the electricity cost is expensive. So if you're losing an electricity cost, you're kind of like fucking. But end my tangent. So block rewards are only given out to those who find the block. There are many entities in competition to do so. When the rewards are higher, more people less. Yes. Already when we begin to scratch the surface reasons for Monero's tail emissions, Monero 2 has a decreasing block reward. Although, unlike Bitcoin, there are no halvings. Instead, each block reward is a tiny amount less than the previous one. So the reduction is much smoother. But the question is, for all cryptocurrency, is what happens when the block reward hits zero? This is a strange situation in which we both know and don't know the answer. The part we do know is there will be no more block reward subsidies, which means that miners will have to be incentivized by their users' transactions fees alone. What we do know and what we don't know is if these amounts will be enough to keep the miners from scaling the chain. That's also true if we become a fee market where it's only based on fees and fees are cheap and inexpensive, like Lightning, etc., then you could be losing in mining ain't really profitable anymore. It can be if you have a lot of money. If you have a lot of money and free energy. If you have free energy and you have like 20 to 30 grand around, sure, definitely profitable. Because Bitcoin's price fluctuates enough that, now it probably wouldn't be. I mean, it went from 120 down to 80K, but I've always said that Bitcoin is a whale market now. I think Bitcoin's been compromised personally. I think it's lost the plot, and it just gets manipulated by whales. They'll crash it to like a high degree to scoop the low cost, and then they'll let it go up again. People act like they know how this market works, but cryptocurrency is not your standard average market. Just like when we're reading about tail emissions, this is not talking about standard average inflation. Now, inflation is brought up a lot with the tail emissions part, but we can't think of inflation as the same as we think about regular inflation. I mean, cryptocurrency, again, is a different entity. Is it an asset? Sure. Is it a currency? Sure. Is it fungible? Sure. But it's not, what it isn't is like the standard cryptocurrency how we view it. Like we don't view it like the same economics that we understand as a society, because it doesn't align with it. There are cryptocurrencies that should have crashed. I mean, there are companies in the standard market that should have been bankrupted by now. But so like normal economics doesn't exist anymore. That's why when people say they predict these markets, they're just a bunch of bullshitters, and they just get lucky. That's my personal take. No one thought gold was going to hit like 4,000. I think gold's worthless. I think it's a useless tool, but it's so loved and enjoyed, and people say thinks that it hedges against inflation and all these other things. You can't eat fucking gold when people are poor and society is broke, and no one's going to buy this shit when they need food. I mean, you quite literally didn't see people like selling gold on the side when shit was like not going right. And I think again people misunderstand what a hedge against inflation is. But that's like, I mean, you can go down many economic policies throughout history and see. You could see like where society becomes really, really desperate, and I think ammo is more valuable than gold. I think food is more valuable than gold. I think having access to ammo and food would get you much farther. That's just my personal take. If society collapsed, I don't give a fuck. Someone comes with me a half a pound of gold. And they want like 300 bullets. What do you think is going to be better, bullets or gold? Ask yourself that. Look at countries that are in economic struggle right now. Ask them how they feel about gold. They'll tell you they don't give a fuck. They're like, give me the bullets. Sir, would you like to eat your gold? I don't know. I just hate gold people. I just hate gold, and I think it's just a goofy asset. That's my personal take, though. Okay. So as mentioned earlier, at the time, the block reward outweighs the transaction fees by a substantial amount. So the hope is that more users use the chain fees would increase, and the increased fees, the miners will deem worth their time continue to mine. There is another side to the scenario. However, this side of the users is if fees increase, then it will become much more expensive to transact with cryptocurrency for everyone, potentially walling it off for those who without sacrificing monetary resources. But on the other hand, if the fees stay low and the block reward goes to zero, then few miners will secure the network, leaving it vulnerable to a 51% attack and reversed transactions. This is a problem to be aware of. If fees get too high, just like if we're getting into bank fee territory, the difference is MasterCard, Visa, and all them, they have such a high control, you don't have a choice. Bitcoin is decentralized, and people can leave and exit whenever the fuck they want. They can just go back to regular transactions. So it doesn't matter. So that's something to keep in mind. If these fees get too high, people are not going to... I mean, look at gas fees. When Ethereum was like $20, $30 a fucking transaction, why the fuck would you use that? You don't give a shit if you can 50... People aren't thinking about 50xing their their shit. Like, they're not thinking about 15xing their by switching Ethereum or the Polynet to a big retard fucking Pepe pee pee poo poo coin. They're literally sitting there thinking like, I am not spending $30 to buy a coin that's worth like, gives me a 10,000 coins of this for just a transaction fee. You got to be smoking crack. That kind of type of energy. That's something to always be aware of. Fees too high. Like, I complained about Ethereum fees, and I stopped trading Ethereum because they were too high and retarded. I even stopped Bitcoin because I liked Lightning because of that reason. But I digress. As mentioned earlier at the time, the block reward outweighs the transaction fees by a steep amount. Okay, 51% attack. Can I get there closely? There we go. Nobody has a good answer for this scenario. No major coin has yet entered the phase of the cryptocurrency's life. That's true. So we have no real-world experience with it either. It's all speculation, a gamble. If Bitcoin makes the bet that fees will be enough to sustain miners, even if that means excluding the impoverished, Monero makes a different bet. Monero bets on the fees alone would not be enough for chain security, so it includes a tail mission part of the protocol. While we remind the reader that the block reward will not fall below 0.6 XMR per block ever. Will this be enough to incentivize miners? We don't know, but it's certainly better than zero, which is almost every other currency that has built onto their protocol. The main criticism levied against this approach is that this means Monero's supply chain is theoretically infinite, causing inflation over time. While coins that cap the block reward have a finite supply, their scarcity increases the value over time. We feel this argument is insufficient for several reasons. Let's go. First, what good is scarce, high-value coin that is easily attacked, censored, and subvert due to low security? If anything, the low security would decrease the value more than offsetting what increased the scarcity would provide. Secondly, though, Monero's supply is theoretically infinite, the inflation is linear and a trend towards zero as a yearly percentage, unlike fiat exponentially. You also have to remember, just because something is infinite doesn't mean that it's necessarily, just because something is finite and has a limited supply doesn't mean that it has value. Is dog shit a limited supply? Maybe, but is dog shit worth it? No. If dog shit had a finite supply, like a big supply, but it eventually will go to zero, like there's only 100 piles of dog shit that will ever exist, you ain't gonna go out and buy fucking dog shit. Yet labubu's. So in people again just look at surface level economic theory and policies, and they just go like, well, there's a market for everything, sure, but does that mean it's profitable? No. Does that mean it's valuable? No. Again, I say that bullets are huge. I'm going to go back to the ammo because I think ammo has a use case. Ammo is, in theory, almost infinite. It's very easy to make gunpowder. It's very easy to produce ammo. People can do it. You can do it at home. Is there problems that come with that? Yeah, sure. There's people that do make their own ammo because they want to produce their ammo for 5 cents or something. Does that mean that ammo is going to lose its value? No. Does that mean that it's not valuable? No. because it's a skill. And the skill is how to make it. Are there infinite amount of people that could learn how to make it? Sure. Is that going to happen? No. So, like, what gives ammo its value? I don't know how to make it. Even though there's a huge supply, it has a use. So that's something to always think about. It's not always just is there a high supply, is there a low supply of it and a high demand. There could be a high demand for something and a low supply, and it can still not have much value. The value always comes from external points on it, whether people want to argue about that or not. There are probably tons of minerals out there that have not really a use and have a low circulating supply or amount, and no one cares. Scarcity is just one factor of it, but it's not the whole factor. Like they said, the security. If Bitcoin security gets worse, why would you use it? If it's less fungible, why would you use it? If it's more traceable, why would you use it? You know what I mean? But I digress. That's the point. Okay. The main criticism level against this approach is that it means Monero's supply is theoretically infinite, causing inflation over time. Okay, for several reasons. Firstly, that's true. Monero's inflation is precisely known ahead of time and can be accurately projected, unlike fiat, which may increase more or less by any given year based on the whims of power that be's. This still preserves the cypherpunk spirit of removing the possibility of human corruption through protocol and forced technology, with the added benefit of peace of mind that the security of the Monero's blockchain, though mining will be around for as long as the world needs it. So if Monero's also the price goes up, that 0.06 block reward, say that's worth $1,000, and say the cost of living is below that threshold, and people want to make sure that they are securing the network and protecting that $1,000 block reward. You essentially are investing in Monero's security and the future of it. That's the difference. Unlike Bitcoin people that just care about the price, this is a fundamental problem with Bitcoin. Is price only caring about the price ruins the idea of securing the network, securing the technology, and ruins the overall goal of what Bitcoin was supposed to be, which is decentralized, fungible cash. But then you get people that are okay with the government getting involved, doing an ETF, allowing people to buy it in a regulatory manner. You are essentially removing the whole concept of Bitcoin in itself. Is supposed to be away from some form of regulation, and it's supposed to be stateless. It's supposed to be a sovereign type of currency, but it's not really that anymore. And the traceability part is kind of problematic. And if you have too many moving parts in order to make something private, or pseudo anonymous, which I really don't like that word. I think it's retarded. You essentially lose the plot of Bitcoin, just in my perspective. The last point we want to touch on is the fairness. Money is used in several ways of store value as a medium of exchange and the unit of account. In a system where supply is infinite, inflation will stop, meaning that those that use it as a store value use their system for free. The benefit of this is benefit from the continued security provided from the miners without paying for anything for it, since without inflation, their money does not slowly lose value over time. Conversely, anyone who uses the currency as a medium of exchange gets penalized via potentially high transaction fees. This will encourage people to hold but not spend, and skews the fairness of the system in favor of the holders. By having tail emissions, this event evens out the equation. Now, holders pay a small tax via inflation for the system's security, and the tail emissions makes it more fair for everyone. Based, actually. Whew. Okay. Continuing back to Monero, how remote nodes impact Monero's privacy, how Monero uses hard forks to upgrade the network, view tags. Okay. RandomX. We're going to look at this now because it's kind of in correlation with that. Okay. On November 30th, 2019, Monero has had a semi-annual hard fork, with the most anticipated change being switched from the old POW algorithm, kryptonite, to the completely new, internally developed one, RandomX. The Monero community believes that RandomX is a bit towards entangled egalitarian mining, but let's dig deeper into see if that's the case. Another brewski? Always another brewski, man. Support my beer funds. There needs to be. I need Modelo just needs to accept Monero. That's it, man. Purpose. In order to judge whether RandomX is an improvement, we must first understand what is the purpose of mining. Mining secures a blockchain from double spends via Nakamoto consensus. The exact intrinsic of how it does it is beyond the scope of this article, but they can be learned from many different sources around the internet. What matters is the security comes from the hashes generated by miners, in competition with one another to find the mathematical solution necessary to create another block. As they do this, they add new transactions to the block. If you think you would have more donations, if you say, I think you would have more donations if you said buy me a coffee. No, I'm like the honest homeless person. I'm gonna spend this on beer and crack. As they do this, all no transactions to the blockchain in return for the workspace hashes, they are compensated with newly minted coins. In competition with another. As they do this, they are added to new coins. Yeah, okay. This is why I think, what do you call it? Newly minted Bitcoins are like worth a lot of money because they haven't touched anything. And people are like, look, guys, I have private Bitcoin finally. What are you reading? Is it like Bitcoin? We're reading Monero. Monero wants to switch to a capped block size, and we're kind of learning, no, JavaScript. Boo! Is that going to ruin this? It's not based. It's like how RandomX works in Monero. Remember, we are Bitcoin haters here, and we are Monero maximalists. But yeah, like Bitcoin, like newly minted Bitcoins were like supposed to be like super like based and like super loved. Bitcoin was always pseudo anonymous. It was never anonymous in general. Hence that's the problem with Bitcoin. They've found like accounts from like a long time ago through chain analysis because of how good it is. And I mean that was the selling point of fucking Bitcoin, was to be transparent. The transparency was built into the ideology. So Bitcoin's key feature was always like some form of pseudo anonymity. The issue is Bitcoin's pseudo anonymity requires a lot of third parties, a lot of thinking, and you can't make pretty much any mistake. Because of all of that, you essentially have a coin where a lot of people aren't going to think about that. Yes, we could change the thought process of people, and maybe I'll figure a way to. I'll do like a live like how to get Bitcoin as private and as deep as possible through mixing coin joins and pee pee poo poo. It's just a lot. It's a lot of work. You're better off just getting Monero. Actually, you're better off buying Bitcoin with physical cash and taking that Bitcoin and going through like a slew of mixers. Maybe exchanging it for Monero like once and then back to Bitcoin, and then you're kind of washing it. But the thing is, because Bitcoin's public ledger is so traceable, you could be buying like really nasty illegal Bitcoin, like big dirty Bitcoin. There are some exchanges that will reject dirty pee pee poo poo. True, Bitcoin is pee pee poo poo. The problem is you could be buying illegal dirty Bitcoin where it's attached to a really nasty, maybe illegal activity, and remix your BT GSM fam. Yeah, but like you could be getting worse Bitcoin. You don't know what you're getting. That's the problem with mixers. Mixers require you to have a third party in order to be efficient. Not good. Monero doesn't do this. I was thinking about buying a Ryzen 9 and building my rig from scratch. You should. Your PC rig? Yeah. Ryzen's great. AMD's great. I'm eventually going to swap out for an AMD CPU. I mean, not CPU, AMD GPU. I just don't want to lose any performance. I just hate NVIDIA. And Intel Arc is getting closer to better support on Linux, but just not for a long time. It's getting closer, but it's still out there. I'm on the latest kernel and I'm good, but it is kind of annoying. In order to show the right image in background. Okay. Background. For context, let's talk a bit about mining hardware. Miners use computers to do the work, but we all know that not every computer is made equally. Some computers are more powerful, enough to run AI networks or intense games, while others struggle even with the simplest tasks. These differences in computing power are the effect of the hash rate and the rate at which they look for block solutions. But even these differences between computers in pale comparison to the hash rates of specialized hardware, otherwise known as application-specific integrated circuits, ASICs, which outclass regular computers by several orders of magnitude. Let's take some time to explore what makes ASICs so powerful. Imagine all the computers as falling somewhere on the spectrum, which ranges from being able to do many things but nothing well to doing only one thing but doing it very well. CPUs and ASICs are on the opposite ends of the spectrum, the autism spectrum. CPUs are like in all standard computers and are on the first end. They can do many things like browse, web, play games, or render videos, but not do any of them particularly well, but this flexibility comes at a cost of efficiency. ASICs are on the other end, where they can just do one thing, but do it at an incredible rate. They can only perform one mathematical function, but because they can ignore everything else, the performance gains are astronomical. This efficiency, however, does come at the cost of flexibility. So in the function changes, even slightly, even an example of x plus y equals z changes to 2x plus y equals z, the ASIC will cease function altogether. Not everyone owns an ASIC, but everyone does own a computer. This can lead to an unfair advantage. This is why they probably went ASIC resistant. I'm assuming because ASIC application-specific hardware is fucking expensive. I mean, just go look at fucking Bitcoin mining hardware. It's tens of thousands of dollars now. You used to be able to mine like Bitcoin on a fucking laptop with like the shittiest processor on the planet because it was super easy. Imagine if you just would be mining tens of thousands of Bitcoins on your CPU laptop, and then your girlfriend told you to shut off and threw it out, and you lost your keys. God, if that was a real story, that'd be crazy, right? A fun analogy. If this still is confusing, perhaps following an analogy will help. Imagine a lottery where $1,000 is awarded every hour, and this lottery allows you to print your own tickets. You start printing as many tickets as you can on your home printer, which can print one ticket per second. After subtracting electricity and ink costs, you see that you can still make a profit, even if you only win the lottery once every few weeks. Over time, you expand your operation until you have an entire room dedicated to printers, 20 in all. Everything is fine until one fateful day. There's big news. Someone has invented a new kind of printer. It can only print lottery tickets. It can print it can't pick pictures. The guy who accidentally threw away his USB, who tried to go with the garbage and couldn't find it. Yeah, that guy. That guy always lives rent-free in my head. They said the noise was too much. Like, she complained about the noise because it was like throttling his fucking PC. You know what? I don't FOMO really about anything because it's like whatever. You didn't know Bitcoin was going to be worth anything, and you really didn't. But God, I would be super fucking livid about that one. Not even the pizza guy. Like, I would be, even as the pizza guy, I don't think I would be upset. I wouldn't be upset if I was him. He bought something with it. Like, something cool. I've even heard people, they're like, oh, I sold my Bitcoin to buy a car. Who fucking cares? But that guy, that sucked. He threw it out. He literally took maybe the potentially tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands, maybe millions, for all you know, and threw it out. I mean, okay, the pizza thing is, I think what... I mean, you don't know when he was going to sell, though. These people don't know when... They could have sold at the top. They could have sold at $400 a coin. I mean, 10,000... What? He spent $10,000... 10,000 Bitcoin. I've met Laszlo. Who's Laszlo? Is that the person who did it? What, times like 80,000? He worked at a company that I did, but years before me. I mean, it's like, how many zeros is that? God damn it, there's no commas. That's $80. That's 800. 8,000. 80,000. 800,000. 8 million. Oh, the Bitcoin pizza guy? Yeah. He probably just said, hey, look, I can buy pizza with this. Cool. Yeah, you'd have like a lot of money. But what you could. I mean, that was like what 2010. You know, very small universe. Are you aware of the six people or like six? I think it's called the Kevin Bacon theory, or like 6 people or 6 degrees or less. You're 6 degrees from knowing people through other people that it's like so intertwined. Like me and you probably theoretically have some friend or relative, if you're in the U.S., or even if you're in a different country, we could be 6 people away from knowing each other. I'm assuming because you're talking about the Bitcoin pizza guy, you're in the U.S. But yeah, if you're in the U.S. because you talked about the Bitcoin pizza guy, there's a theoretical. There's probably one person that I know. Yeah, I'm connected as hell. Yeah. So like you could 100%. 2 hops from Sam Hyde, 1 hop from. That's really funny. Sam Hyde. By proxy, I'm 3 hops from Sam Hyde, guys. Two hops from Sam Hyde. I always like to think about how many hops I'm from certain people. I know like one famous bandish. So I'm like a hop from some people, which is kind of funny. Over time, your operations, you have the entire room dedicated to printers. 20 home. Okay. It can lottery tickets. It can't print pictures, or office documents, or double-sided printing. Only lottery tickets, but it can print this at the rate of 1,000 tickets per second. You look at your little printer room with 20 printers. You need 980 more printers just to keep up with that one monster printer. And if someone has 2, this sadly exists. The lottery game, as you no longer justify the electricity in cost. 2 hops to Steve Jobs. That's crazy. Look, he became a fruitarian and then mysteriously died. Maybe fruitarianism was the answer to like eternal life, and the CIA killed him. Coincidence? I think not. RandomX. Where does RandomX fit into all this? It seeks to even out the advantages by ASICs by making ASICs very difficult to make. It does this by requiring miners to make and execute random code in place of hashing based off an algorithm. It may be confusing how this actually helps anything, so let's go back to our printer analogy. Remember what happened when we designed... it's all the LSD he did, man? Yeah, he did so much LSD that he uncovered... he uncovered the secrets of the universe and became a fruitarian. And then the CIA killed him. Him and John Lennon. Yeah, that he bought with Monero. You know what's funny? I do not know why it took so long for the darknet to adopt Monero. Like, it just did not make sense. Even if it was like like people were using Bitcoin when it was like, people were like, price, dude, price, and hard to obtain. People were using fucking Bitcoin like to buy drugs a long time, way before it was even worth anything. People just didn't care. They're like, oh, it's anonymous. By simply implementing randomness in this ticket design, we subsequently reduced the great advantage gained from the specialized hardware. RandomX does the same, but within mining. In this way, the advantages gained by select few affluent people is minimized, as if they invest in creating ASICs for mining RandomX, they will actually merely invent stronger, better CPUs, which benefits the world at large. This means the little guy in his 20 ticket printers is in the back of the game. He may still have a harder time since these wealthy individuals can still buy more printers than him, but at least now he's not outclassed by order of magnitude simply from one machine. He's competitive in a small way. Now, knowing this, even this little guy can be competitive in mining Monero, we encourage everyone to give a spin, either the Monero GUI wallet, which has support for solo mining, or by downloading community maintainer software. It's easy, competitive, and open to all. A full Monero secure setup is a pain in the butt. Having have to host the whole blockchain for max. Yeah. I run a Monero node. Full blockchain. No pruned. Over Tor. It's slow too. Oh my god. It took forever. And I did it on a Raspberry Pi. So that shit, that shit took booling ass hours. But I think it's important that people do it. The issue is we're reaching points where people are saying Monero's security is at stake and transactions are this, and it's really just people not running their own node. If you had the ability to open, the best way that I can analogy, if someone ever comes across this, maybe I'll timestamp this, or make it into a short or like a second, a 2-minute rant. It took me like a week plus. Yeah. It takes, and like it's just sitting. It's not like you have to do anything. That's my point. It's people are like, oh my god, it's like you literally run a few commands and then you sync the blockchain and you're good. But if anyone could take anything from this and someone gets this far and watches, imagine if you could open up a bank right now. You'd be like, fuck yeah. Imagine if you could hire security guards. Hell yeah. Imagine if the money that you put in that bank grows interest. Hell yeah. And it's private. Fuck yeah. People are going to be like, hell yeah to that because it allows them to have some form of digital sovereignty. That's what a Monero node is. It is your own security. It is you hiring the security, you buying the hardware, you doing the work. It is you putting that money that can grow over time if Monero decides to financially mature. And it is you making sure that everything is private because you're using your own node to do all the transactions. That's essentially what you're doing. You are becoming actually your own bank at a fraction of the price of a Bitcoin node, by the way, or learning how to fucking do lightning channels. If you've ever explained how to, hell yeah. If you've ever had to explain lightning channels to just an average user in how to run your own lightning node, that's its own form of cancer. It took me I barely understood it, and it took me a fucking shitload to understand it. And then just you have to throw money at it. You do have to throw money at it to open up chains for liquidity. Fuck all that. I never want to set up another Bitcoin node ever again. Like if I ever have to reconstruct my Lightning node ever again, I quite literally won't do it. I'll just find different ways to obtain Monero. Awful experience, by the way. And there are some ways that you can kind of like buy chain liquidity in and out, channels in and out, but it's fucking costs money. So it costs money. So that's the kind of the problem. So that's pretty much that was pretty much tail emissions and essentially why RandomX is good. Now we're going to go back to the point. How Monero solved the block size problem that plagues Bitcoin. This is from 2020. This is only like 5 years old. And then we'll get back to the original point. It's good to always step backwards is what I say, right? I would even say that beyond Monero being your own bank and fungibility, there's so many ways you can purchase it. I really don't care about the price part. I don't want people to ever think that. That's all I care about. Not even just me, just me in general. I never want to get... What the fuck? What is it right now? Not euro. That's gay. Not USDC. USA. I get the same thing, whatever. Hey man, quick question. Do you know a free Anon email service to get an account that is not Proton or Tuda, or a dump mail address that basically won't ask me any info. You can get Proton pretty privately. It's just a fucking headache. And Tuda very privately. You can just buy it with Monero. You can buy Monero. You can buy Tuda Node vouchers with Monero from a site. They just want an email address. I mean, privately, like, I don't know, a cockmail. That's what I use, or a pissmail. Pissmail is actually a funny one. If I would have known about this, I would have gotten this first. But they're not secure. I would not trust them on security. I would only use PGP with this motherfucker. Scam detector. Let's see what they think. Guys, this is a legit site. Scam detector. This has got to be fucking fake. There's no way this person sat through here and actually thought about... There's no way this is real, guys. It can't be. Scam alert, be notified. God, you know it's real when there's a hidden person in the background. I would say pissmail. Start there. Is pissmail legit? It's definitely a question. Oh, God. You already know it's a fucking bullshit site when they do this. Scam detector's most trusted websites. Guard.io. ExpressVPN. Incogni. All affiliate fucking companies. Affiliate marketing killed the fucking internet, man. I swear. Is pissmail Monero typically at block 3,558, 580? This is why you should mine it, Jay. Instead of you spending time with your family and showing how much you love them, you should be building Threadrippers. You should be taking on massive amounts of debt to build Threadrippers and only mine Monero. And it'll heat your house. This can't be real. Is pissmail legit? It's definitely questionable, and we don't recommend it based on its medium low trust score. We put to work 53 powerful factors to expose high risk activity and see if pissmail.com is a scam. Let's look at it and its malicious, uncharacterized industry through an in-depth review. You'll also learn how to detect and block scam websites and what you can do if you already lost your money. It doesn't cost anything. It's fucking free. The guy doesn't even, or girl, how sexist of me. The person, they, them, doesn't know, ask for money. They ask for like some Monero donation, but they said it's like, I don't think people realize how inexpensive email is to run. It's not expensive. Emails don't take up a lot of storage. You could really give people like gigs and gigs of storage, and it would still be like an inexpensive. They wouldn't even fill like a fraction of it. Like my email forwarding, I was originally going to get the highest tier for email forwarding, and on their website, they're directly claiming, they're like, you probably don't need it because this is how much an email takes up, even if you do like 10,000 emails. I just need it to log online MML platforms. I'm just trying to learn some. I bought coffee with Bitcoin. This is why you're not a millionaire. I'm trying to learn some new technologies, but I run everything in VMs, and local IA is much less performant without GPU pass-through. That's true. It's kind of annoying. Do pissmail.com and get back to me. Trust index 31%. Domain creation 2021. Domain blacklist status not detected by any blacklists. Valid HTTPS found. Proximity to suspicious websites. We evaluated pissmail.com connection to its listed to malicious, uncharacterized, and found a few areas of concern. We tried to extract some content from the website to see whether they say about themselves. Here's the conclusion. Pissmail is a service that provides free email addresses with unconventional and edgy domain names. Launched in 2021, it caters to users looking for unique email options for often associated with internet culture and memes. The platform currently serves over 64,000 users and offers features like webmail and SMTP and IMAP setup. We dive deeper into Pissmail. I can't believe this is a real fucking article. Holy fuck. Oh, this is awesome. I wish I would have found this email first. Pissmail.com review. Oh, man. The scam detector website validated gives Pissmail.com pretty low trust score on the platform of 31.9. I don't know why they didn't just do 32 or just 31. Why was it? What is 0.9 trust? It signals that the business could be defined by the following: medium risk, standard, warning. We are confident about our score as we also partner with other high-tech fraud prevention companies that found the same issues. So why this low score? We came up with 31.9 score based on 53 aggregated factors relevant to pissmails.com. Industry. The algorithm detected a fairly high-risk activity related to phishing, spamming, and other factors noted by medium risk standard warning tags above. Long story short, we recommend staying away from this website, but let's explain in more detail. I gotta take a breather for this one. This can't be real. We've displayed some important information with the company details above, each deserving more explanation. Proximity to suspicious websites, threat profile, phishing profile, malware score, spam score, domain blacklist status. While some are self-explanatory to concerning, pissmail.com, let's dive deeper into the remaining. God, if somebody actually wrote this, kudos to them. That's a big W, because they had to write pissmail.com like a bunch of times, which is kind of funny. Like, I just think of some intern just going like, obviously this is like one of those sites that just scrapes probably content and just writes shit articles. Proximity to potential harmful websites. The metric gauges the connection scored at a scale of 1 to 100 between pissmail.com and websites marked as sus. Elevated scores point to a stronger link with these questionable online destination. It's worth noting that the website's owner might not always have been aware of their site's proximity to these dubious platforms or servers. However, a proximity to suspicious website score passing 80 strongly indicates a high-risk website, while a score below 30 seems it's less threatening site. Risk factor: threat in phishing and malware spam. These indicators reveal that vulnerabilities and elements embedded with the HTML code of pissmail.com, they become especially pertinent if the website has received reports from the internet users who have encountered unsolicited emails, ads, or messages related to the site in the context of pissmail.com. Our investigation continues to working a pinpoint of the specific category. We welcome your insight, comments below. If there is a HTML web developer that wants to look at pissmail.com and look for malware, is Pissmail a scam? The scam share experience. Is this real? 5 ways to spot a fake website.
In this video, I will give you the best practices on how to...
This guy can't be real. This can't be a real person. This has got to be a hit. See, this is what I should have done. I should have made, like, online super... I should have made my channel super secure secret. Like, I can't even think of I mean, if you're going to use something like this, obviously don't do anything sensitive and just put everything, like PGP everything. Ooh. Your channel's short description. I would run Pissmail with JS enabled on multiple nested VMs that run on asymmetry. No, you should run Pissmail. You should run Pissmail on host. YouTube site about piss and cyber security. I wonder if this will give me something. Reject all. No? I have to do a Cloudflare check. Cyber P guard. Oh Lord. Cyber P Guardians. Secure stream urine. Piss proof cyber. Digital drain defense is fucking crazy. H2O security insights. God, this is actually peak internet lore. About piss and cybersecurity. Focus on. Let me see. Focus on haha funny memes, but also SE Linux policies. And C. This reminds me of the evil Pissmaster character from Rick and Morty. Oh, that's I haven't watched Rick and Morty in a long time. Let's see what this comes up with. Now on the dark web. Ordering from the dark web, guys. At 3 a.m. dark web. Cyber P memes. Hilarious hackers and policies. Memesec. Piss and protect. This is actually crazy. Not impressed with this copy? Make AI work harder for you with word count. Why would you get this as a pro plan? Why would you pay for this? Formal? How about professional? Cyber P memes is actually the funniest shit ever. I'm never going to forget that one. LOL, second P, hilarious hackers and P, meme guardians, piss and policies, CC code and comedy P. Yeah, this guy's cooking, man. Okay. How to remove your information from the internet. Yeah. They just be hating. They just be hating on the P memes, I guess. That's just crazy. That tool exists. That's gonna be that's in a database somewhere too. Wow. All right, I'm cooked on that one. So pretty much Random X is pretty based. And tail missions isn't as scary as everyone makes it out to be. You have to remember that there's a lot of FUD, and remember there are government shills for other private, huge quotes, privacy cryptocurrencies, aka Zcashes, doing lawsuits on people. And people are like, actually, PIS and policies is top SE Linux enforcing model config. True. So, okay. Zcash founder issues legal notice to independent Zcash strategy. Oh my. Oh my. Okay. Let's see. Okay. The truth is, okay. Whenever individuals discuss the problems with blockchain, or one of the first words will pop up is scaling. It's not a secret that blockchains don't scale well, but most people don't know why. The truth is, scaling is actually an umbrella term that covers two different categories: protocol support and technological support at a given point in time. In this article, we're going to focus on the intention of one. Protocols support is basically a measure of how many transactions the protocol can handle at any given time. That is kind of true. But I don't know how SMTP works, to be completely honest. I mean, the fact that that's going to be in a tab. In this article, we're going to give a focus on attention. The protocol support basically measured how many transactions it can block. Bitcoin is a block size limit, which means that once enough transactions are included in the block, any additional transaction will have to wait in line for the next block. A helpful analogy will be thinking about a train. A train pulls up to the station, and those those in line fill in. Once the train is full, anyone left outside will have to wait for the next one. I think this is why fee transactions will make it go faster. I think it's because they're trying to. Someone explained fee transactions to me really simple to understand, and I was like, oh, cool. I kind of got it. Bitcoin uses fees to determine who gets in the block or not. Jumping back to the train analogy, one can imagine one potential passenger that is about to be left behind offers the train engineer $5 to give him a seat. Other passengers follow suit, and eventually there's a bidding war to see who gets which seats. It's up to the driver to decide if he wants to honor the first come first served policy, but it's in his best financial interest to maximize his income by taking the highest bidders on board. In this analogy, miners are the train drivers. They can include whatever transactions they want in the block, but they will generally choose the ones that have the highest paid fees. Alternatively, if blocks are not full, people will have no incentive to pay high fees because there are plenty of free seats to spare. In the height of 2017 cryptocurrency boom, Bitcoin was flooded with transactions. The fees skyrocketed for those who wanted to be included in the next block, and any near future block for that matter. Those who were unwilling to pay high fees saw their transactions pushed back for hours, days, or even drop out of the queue altogether. There was a harrowing insight for how Bitcoin would fare if the OFT talked about mass adoption, where were to occur. If Bitcoin was to be used by the masses, things would be even worse in 2017, and Bitcoin would be inaccessible to anyone but the wealthy, simply because the throughput is small due to a fixed block size, causing fee market to take over. Hence why maybe the fee market is a problem. This was a harrowing insight to Bitcoin and would fare if the Moreover, Monero foresaw this and wanted to do something different, so the Monero developers implemented a dynamic block size. Basically, Monero has a block size cap. It's a soft cap. When the line of waiting transactions get too long, the miners can increase the size of the blocks. With our train analogy, you can imagine adding more train cars to fit the extra passengers. After the queue is empty, the blocks shrink back to their original size going forward. If this seems like a neat idea, it seems reasonable to ask why Monero is the only cryptocurrency that has implemented this. Why not add it on Bitcoin to put a stop through throughput issues? Unfortunately, this is not possible. There are several reasons why, and we'll do our best to explain. It's always the miner's best interest to have large blocks. With the large blocks, they can fit more transactions and make more money off the fees, as well as the block reward. This has the potential to lead to spam attacks, where someone sends many small transactions with small fees to bloat the chain. Miners would then just raid the block size, including them all, because money is money. No matter how many small, this would lead to a consistently large block with little economic benefit. Bitcoin solves this by artificially restricting the block size and thereby generating a fee market. Spam attacks would have to outpay other users in fees, and it is no longer cheap. This means that blocks get full leverage in some transactions, waiting as mentioned above. So how can Monero have a dynamic block size to avoid spam attacks? The answer is simple but clever. A penalty on the block reward is introduced when a block is bigger than normal. If a miner wants to increase the block size, the reward they get from finding that block will be less than they would otherwise receive. So they will only increase the block size when the paid transaction fee of a user outweigh the lost portion of the block reward. For example, if the miner would lose 0.5 XMR, raising the block size, and the sum of the paid transaction fees would be 0.4 XMR, then there would be a net loss of 0.1 XMR if they were to raise the size. So they wouldn't do it. Conversely, if the total transaction fees added up to 0.7 XMR, then there would be a net gain of 0.2, even though they lose the 0.5 XMR from the block reward penalty, so the miner will increase the size. These dynamic blocks allow the network to grow organically without artificially restricting block size to make a forced fee market while still avoiding the spam attacks. There are several more angles we can view from this and more reasons why it wouldn't be possible to add to Bitcoin. But for now, we hope that the readers have understand how Monero sidesteps several of the problems with Bitcoin and its derivatives and how it plans to scale through input in the future. Very interesting. Pretty much Bitcoin and I can do this. One of the unchangeable social convenience integrated into the protocol is that there were 21 million Bitcoins. No more, no less. These Bitcoins come into distribution via block and reward. So if a miner are penalized and the block reward is less, then there will be less than 21 million Bitcoins and the convenient would be violated. This also is misleading and inaccurate. It's entirely possible to have a dynamic block size with a penalty fault, yet still ensure there's only 200 million BTC ever created. What is missing or getting lost is from the article the fact that Bitcoin intentionally imposes throughput to create a fee market, which is fundamentally to its long-term security model. When admissions hit zero, the only incentive is to mine fees, which brings us to another misleading point. The tail mission unlocks a potential dynamic for blocks. We've updated our block size article to reflect the comments we've received. Thank you for input. The block size problem in Bitcoin was never technical, only political. It's a part of the economic security model, not politics. This imposes throughput create fees. It's cool reading shit 5 years ago because sometimes people maybe not see the for future. Is this person still around? When was their last post? They're smart. They don't want people to know. Huh. Wow. Interesting. Monero reports scaling new heights in the blockchain performance in 2025. Monero is built on the CryptoNote protocol, specialized for privacy design, fungibility, dynamic block size. Monero adjusts its block size to meet demand. The cap is based on a recent medians, so blocks grow when users rise and shrink when idle. Alternative programs, future proposal, crypto audits. Okay. Pretty much, Monero's block size is dynamically adjusted based on the network conditions. No, that's not it. Damn, I can't find it. That's okay, though. How Monero size the block by? Maybe? Monero is a dominant block size kept flexibility in the transaction process, but it's not currently set to 32 megabytes. The developers have discussed this in various scaling solutions, but any change to be carefully considered to maintain the network efficiency and decentralization. Huh, interesting. Okay. Ooh. There's this. I can just do. And then there's one of those other malware papers. VX Underground. These motherfuckers don't let me in? Yo. Archive art, builders, malware analysis, papers. Here we go. Papers. We're going to look at the papies. Whew. Why is this taking so long? Motherfucker's site doesn't want to load. Do. ResearchGate.net. Amalgam image-based Android malware classification using a generative adversarial network. Reject. Black Basta ransomware, a novel multi-source intelligence framework for advanced cyber threat analysis and proactive defense. Interactive end-to-end decompilation and via large language models. Recognition method for packet software in open set scenario. PackAMAL, a malware analysis framework for open source packages. MalRefiner, recovering malware systematics, reinforcement learning-based semantic. Android traffic malware analysis and detection using sprint machine learning technique. Huh. I was watching a podcast where they're saying cause of quantum computer to prevent someone from getting Satoshi's BTC. They will have to hard fork or something like that, convert his coins into rewards. That's one theory they were saying. Remember, it's just a theory until they test it. Go away. An Android malware detection process requires analyzing numerous files to ensure the system security. Malware can also be embedded into media files and images. Android malware leverages the Android platform propagate malicious payloads through image files created by malware developers. The proposed Android malware detection using the generative adversarial network approach employs image data to identify and classify Android malware. Unlike traditional uses of generative detection, in this work, two models of gain and the generator and decimator are fine-tuned to identify and classify malware. Classify malware. An image-based malware dataset is used for training and validation. The GAN functions as an auxiliary classifier, while a hybrid malware analysis technique is applied to the extra relevant features, standard evolution metrics, and employed to access effectiveness of the proposed amalgam model. The result demonstrates that the amalgam achieves 95.24 accuracy, 94.3 precision, and 96% recall, and 94% phi score. The results confirm that the proposed approach outperforms several state-of-the-art methods in terms of accuracy, precision, recall, and phi score. Actually, it'd be kind of cool to look for Android malware. A new Android malware sneakily wipes your bank account. Android Police. Remember, Android Police is real. I am human. A new Android malware could malware named Albroxic is no ads. Offered on cybercrime forum Russian-speaking threat actors, according to an online fraud management company Clarify. What do you think about AI in general? Not sure if you already gave your take on this, but oh no. I have a take. It's okay. I think AI has a use. I don't think it's going anywhere, so why not use it for good? I believe there will be an AI revolution. I think it's going to be good for a tool for stuff that seems repetitive and unnecessary. It's kind of like the calculator. People probably thought the calculator was cheating. It was pointless. It was going to take jobs. It blah, blah, blah. But it ended up not. The calculator is just a tool now. I think AI could be a tool. Should people be developing full websites and backends and secure stuff? with AI? Probably not. Humans, I mean, humans make mistake, but humans have the ability, an amazing ability to correct stuff and find it. AI might not be able to do that right now. If AI could write safer, more secure software that is, open source, obviously, why wouldn't you take that? Why would you want to do all the work all the time? Like in reality, why would AI is a huge bubble? Yeah, it's a bubble, just like the .com bubble. But but guess what? Those websites still stuck around, and I think AI is like, why search through forms after form for a problem when you can 100% get the solution to the problem in like 2 seconds, or just a quick definition, and then you build off of it. I don't think that it's the worst. I mean, obviously, if it's important, source it, fact check it, do whatever. But if it's like, hey, I have this problem, how do I fix it? What's wrong with it? I don't see really an issue with that. Especially if you can do it local. It's actually open source. Better for yourself, better for your privacy, better for society. I think there are just certain things that AI can do that we shouldn't and can't. I think we more have a bot problem, like with robots, than anything. A new Android malware named that. So, Brockox is a banking Trojan designed for one-device fraud, ODF, on-device fraud, enabling attackers to take control of the compromised mobile device to carry out fraudulent transactions from the victim's cryptocurrency or banking applications. I think, and again, like, AI is not just there's issues with it. There's, environmental problems with it. There's these problems with it, but there's that you can point that to anything. The question is, should we keep using it? Yeah, I think there's going to be use for it. I mean, just like any tool. Someone probably looked at the automobile and was like, that's crazy. You're going to put horses out of jobs? And I would even say that, minus the horses being taken over against, via the car network, there's only so much we can do manually before it becomes inefficient. Not just financially, just in general. That's why we have office buildings, why we have like XYZ. People, I think, back in the 80s said that like office jobs are going to take over the world and there's going to be no physical labor, and it's just like, what do you mean, bro? They said like one computer is gonna like replace like, I don't know, I think like 2 people or some dumb shit, and it didn't end up doing that. It's not the fucking same. The Android malware appears to be underdeveloped and includes remote access functionality that enables real-time control of compromised Android devices. I would even say that it'd be cool to look at agree it has use cases, but it's being overhyped. Oh, 100%. Yeah, it's definitely being oversold. I mean, this is the AI. This is the .com bubble era of AI. This is the .com bubble of our generation, like the generation that's younger, that lived through the .com bubble. 100% gonna crash. Don't know when. Not gonna predict it. There's no prediction. No one knows when it's gonna crash. I'll even say that this AI bubble could go on for 10 years, 10, 15 years, 20 years. And I mean, I would say the GPU. I think what DeepSeek proved that you don't need like powerful GPUs or something. To be like efficient. And then disappeared like nothing else. Yep, until mainstream or finance bros catch on to the grift, and we'll continue. Jensen won't. I be awarded enormous contracts as his Altman and Thiel. Yeah, definitely Jensen will not care. Sam Altman and Peter Thiel are probably making, hand over fist with this. They're probably enjoying it, all this money. Peter Thiel, honestly, is... I don't believe in religious fundamentalists, but he's definitely the Antichrist. I'll even say that, he just looks like a demon. What is it? What does Peter Thiel look like still? I'm in all caps. Do you think we're in a simulation? No. Life sucks too much for us to be in a simulation. If life was a simulation, this would be much sexier. God, he just looks so demonic and soulless. Look, if lizard people are real, it's Peter Thiel and it is Mark Zuckerberg. Why does every billionaire look like this? Bro, Peter Thiel looks like the shit. He looks like Palpatine. I don't even watch. Is Palpatine the Sith Lord? I do not watch fucking Star Wars. I just know what Palpatine looks like. Am I saying Palpatine wrong? The interview with Theo where the guy asked about humanity's... Yeah. Oh my god, yes, I've seen that clip. That clip is crazy. You don't even have to put full Mark. You just gotta put Mark Zuck. Remember when he dressed up with like a gold chain and shit? God, he just looks like he doesn't look human. Neither does Peter Thiel. Why does he have 100 in his hand in this photo? Yeah. Yeah, these are our leaders, guys. Where's Elon Musk too? He's not we can't let literally Palpatine. Literally, that's so funny. I just don't watch Star Wars, so don't people. I hope people don't hate me for it. I think it's okay to make fun of these people, but damn, they look all the same. They have all the same hairline. It's all like receding just enough because all of their souls, have been sucked so deep into the money in the matrix that they lose their hair. That's their curse. They lose their hairline, but they gain wealth. I need to see that interview, though. I believe I found a very funny schizophrenic vlog, too, that we got to discover. Tomorrow we're going to do a darknet dive into the very fringe early 2000s schizophrenic pages. Pretty sure the top clip. Oh yeah, they want to be like immortal or something.
The human race to endure, right? You would
First, why? Honestly, I hate to say it. I'm gonna get hate for it. If you are this balding, shave your head.
For the human race to endure.
If you are this bald, shave your head. Quit being a bitch and shave it. You're practically bald, but worse.
Right?
Uh,
You're hesitant.
yeah. Well,
Yes.
I don't know. I would.
This is a long hesitation.
There's so many.
You would prefer the human race to endure, right?
The thing is, people make up this. For real, shave it, man. Some people have said that like he thinks that the clip is out of context because he's thinking before he speaks. I kind of agree with it to a certain degree. Like there are things where I'm like, yeah, but like he did think about it. Apparently in this clip.
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
I don't know.
I'm not hesitant. I do think a lot though. Like I think before when people ask me like a philosophical question. I mean, there are some things like I would just be like straight no. Like I have a moral compass. Like if someone's like, do you think that the age of consent should be like 3? I'm like, no, I don't have to think about it. I'm not gonna philosophically dig myself out of that hole because there's nothing in the world that would make that like okay. Like, but if someone's like, do you think humanity should endure? That depends. Like, what is humanity doing? Like, what's the question? There are some things that you can pause on. There are things that you can think about before you speak. There are other things that would be a little suspicious if you were like if someone was like, Richard Stallman, what did you say? What did you mean by necrophilia back in 2004?
I would.
This is a long hesitation. This is a long hesitation.
There's so many questions important.
Should the human race survive?
Yes.
Okay.
But.
What do you mean, but?
I also would. I also would like us to radically solve these problems,
right.
And so it's always I don't know.
You know what's funny? I have zero idea where Peter Thiel came from. I don't know how he became rich. I honestly don't know. I don't know how he became rich. I just know of him. Oh, he's German? Never mind. It all makes sense now. The PayPal mafia. So you just invested in PayPal? Oh, following the Peter Thiel, a German-American entrepreneur, venture capitalist, and a political activist, a co-founder of the PayPal Palantir Technologies and Founders Fund, was the first outsider investor in Facebook. According to Forbes, May 2025, this Thiel's business was $20 billion. Okay. Makes sense. Following PayPal, born in Germany, Thiel was taken to the U.S. by his parents, where he was 1 year old in 1971 in South Africa. before moving back to the U.S. in 1977. After graduating at Stanford, he worked as a clerk and securities lawyer, a speechwriter, and subsequently a derivatives trader at a credit suisse. He founded the Teal Capital Management in 1996 and co-founded PayPal with Max Levchin and Luke Nosek in 1998. He was the chief executive officer of PayPal until its sale to eBay in 2002 for 1.5. I know Elon Musk didn't find it, PayPal, but I know what is. Employees who founded or developed additional technology companies based in Silicon Valley, such as LinkedIn, PayPal, Palantir Technologies, SpaceX, Affirm. Yeah, who made Affirm? Slide Kiva is a nonprofit organization headquartered. How come the celebrities that made money being one of the first Facebook investors mostly are weird people? That's a good question. It is interesting because they are weird. They're like very obsessed with like humans living for like a very long time. And they're very obsessed with like very fringe tech. Okay, Affirm Holdings is an American financial technology company and point-of-sale leader, founded in 2015 by Falcon and Max Levin. Okay, who the fuck is this? Buy now, pay later is fucking crazy, though. Is a Ukrainian-American software engineer in business. In 1998, he co-founded the company that eventually became PayPal. Levchin made contribution to PayPal's anti-fraud efforts and was the co-founder of the Guzbek-Lehman test, one of the first commercial implementations of CAPTCHA. Fuck this guy. Affirm is like Klarna. By the way, dude, if this guy is the reason CAPTCHAs exist, I want to fight him with my fist. I hate CAPTCHAs. I want to fight the CAPTCHA makers with my fist. I fucking hate them, man. Look, guys, he's age 50. You too can also lose your hairline and be a demon. Born in Kiev, part of the Ukraine SSR and Ukraine Jewish family. Moved to the United States, settled in Chicago in 91. In an interview with early Chang, Bloomberg discussed his overcoming adversity as a child. He had respiratory problems and doctors doubted his chance of living. With guidance from his grandfather, his grandparents, he took up clarinet to expand. He took up the clarinet. He doesn't seem tough. I think he would win. Good. I think I would win too. I just fucking hate CAPTCHA, man. I think everyone should hate CAPTCHAs. They suck. They're not fun. tried logging in anything with a VPN or like Tor, and it's just a fucking nightmare. It takes them so much of your time. I think they have an estimate even of how much CAPTCHAs take up people's time. It's crazy. David Cho is literally a retarded person. David Cho? I don't know who David Cho is. Is that the guy? I have to see who David Cho is. There's a lot of people that are literally retarded. How much time? Why do I know David Cho? Whew. CAPTCHA wastes an estimated of 819 million hours of people's time each year. This is about 94,000 years of human time lost annually. God damn! Why do I know David Cho, though? He's an American artist, actor, and former journalist. Podcast. That's crazy stuff. Actually, stat. What the fuck? Yeah, I remember reading something about how bad CAPTCHAs are. And it's free labor. That's essentially what it is. We train the models of CAPTCHAs. They're annoying too. I want, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart, I want to fight the person who made CAPTCHAs because I fucking hate them. Even if I lose. They're just bad. They're inefficient and they don't do anything. They don't stop bots. So pretty much from what I understand, like what they've gathered from research, is that CAPTCHAs are kind of built on like your response time. Like robots would have an unrealistic response time, and because yours is realistic looking, like you make mistakes, you retry stuff, you take your time, you click off center, it's like, oh, this is kind of a human. Like that's what they make their perspective on. 49. Oh, he does like pure like paints and murals. Even if this man is retarded, he's less retarded than Peter Thiel. And this man. Look at David Cho on Joe Rogan podcast, mentally disabled certified. Me for real. Remember when he did the afro? He was like, guys, look, I have a gold chain. I'm hip, right? I'm 40 and I'm hip. Or 50 or whatever. God, he's got to be a lizard. How do you go from this to this? There's no way that Mark Zuckerberg's not a lizard. He looks older. And I know this is like an older video, like photo of him. This to this. Somehow he looks like more normal and younger. He's got to be a fucking lizard, guys. There's no other reason. Okay. Aside in 2004, Lee founded Slide, a personal media sharing service for social networking such as sites such as MySpace and Facebook. Slide was sold to Google in 2010 for $182 million. In August 25, Levi joined the company as vice president of engineering. 2011, Google announced it was shutting down Slide and that was leaving the company. Humilification. What the fuck is Slide? I've never even heard of Slide. I'm going to be honest. HVF and Affirm started a company called HVF, standing for Hard Value and Fun. Zuck knows Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He taps out guys at open events. Even if I fucking lose. Yeah, people did say, like, Mark Zuckerberg, if he fought Elon Musk would lose. I remember they wanted to fight or something. I don't care if he knows Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He can't beat the power move of Glock 19. That's the most powerful move. Rear naked choke and Glock 19 are the most powerful moves in America. Right below those two is AR-15 spin kick. Standing for Hard Value and Fun, that was intended to explore and fund projects and companies in the area of leveraging data such as data from analog sensors. In early 2012, he found the financial technology company Affirm was spun out of HVF and the global building of next-gen credit network. Affirm was created by Lev Chin, Palantir Technologies co-founder Nathan Grettings, and Jeff First Data. The company is based in San Francisco. Launched Glow, a fertility app that helps couples conceive naturally. After Affirm has its initial public offering, Levy's stake in the estimate was $2.5 billion. That's fucking crazy. I didn't even know Affirm was a public company like that. Kind of bonkers. But all these companies want your fucking data, man. I mean, it's not even a crazy concept. Affirm, I think we're at the highest level of buy now, pay later in history, where people are they're buying more stuff now at a high, like, and they're not making that much, and they're accumulating this insane debt, and these companies have to be collecting interest fees. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to operate. They probably get sponsorship deals, board members, and investments in the media, politics. Leviton was listed as one of the contributors of VFWS, a Silicon Valley-based lobbying group, spearheaded by Mark Zuckerberg and Joe Green. The group is intended to concentrate on immigration liberalization for high-skilled immigrants in the United States, improvements to education, and facilitating technologies breakthroughs with broad public benefits. Levchin also narrated his personal experience as an immigrant in the video released by the group. In 2013, amidst the controversy over mass surveillance and the NSA espionage activities, Legion defended the NSA in opposition to views of many of the tech entrepreneurs. According to him, the agency was designed to protect the U.S. from terrorism, so even if it oversteps its boundaries, the public should support it. What in the cuck? Wow. Arranged and financed Levitin Prize, which since 2016 rewards advancements in cryptography with real-world impact. Man, imagine being like, I don't care if your rights are being violated and your privacy is being violated. Let's just do it for the sake of security. That's fucking crazy. Bounce on it crazy style, I guess. He married his long-term girlfriend. Has 2 children, lived in San Francisco. He listed his home in San Francisco for 2020 generated and purchased. Imagine if I was like, hey, let me go through your wife's photos for security reasons, guys, so I can see the goon pictures. That's fucking wild. He'd be like, no, that's crazy. Oh, but the NSA can do it? Absolute bonkers. Absolute bonkers to even have that opinion. But again, he owns like a fucking an app that takes advantage of people that wants to buy now, pay later. And he was part of PayPal. PayPal's a complete shit show too.
Yeah.
I know that was like a super long side quest, but I just wanted to point out Mark Zuckerberg's a lizard.
Transhumanism is this, the ideal.
The whole point was to get to this video, but my ADHD got locked in. What? I'm not a bot. I swear. God damn it. I fucking hate this. Peter Thiel, and see, I didn't even say that Peter Thiel was the Antichrist. I just want to point this out. Before I notice this, Peter Thiel and the Antichrist, I think he is the Antichrist. Gosh darn it. I waited too long.
You would prefer the human race to endure, right?
Damn it.
You're hesitant.
Yeah, well,
Yes?
I don't know. I would.
I mean, the hesitant was kind of weird. Like, that was like only a few seconds. It's so weird that most people in the U.S. would be surprised at actually how stable the price of tech is in the U.S. versus some other countries. Tech market economy shit show. Yeah, just go to fucking like any country that has like import cost. Buying anything from Germany, like our shipping costs more than the product a lot of the times, or if not, just an insane amount. Like, I ordered something from Germany, and it was like the shipping was like insanely expensive. Just go over to Europe and buy an iPhone. I mean, iPhones are crazy priced over there because of like import tax and like these fees. I know a Turkish person that lives in Turkey, and they told me how much, like, in Mexico too. Mexico's the same. Where this cost to buy like tech is just so exorbitantly expensive, people just don't have the right to get it. They don't have the finances to get it, or the right.
It's so long hesitation.
There's so many questions and
Should the human race survive?
Yes.
Okay.
But
No, and then it cuts. Yes, but and then it cuts.
I also would I also would like us to radically solve these problems, and so it's always, I don't know, transhumanism is this, the ideal was this radical transformation where your human natural body gets transformed into an immortal body. And there's a critique of, let's say, the trans people in a sexual context, or a transvestite is someone who changes their clothes and cross dresses, and a transsexual is someone where you change your.
Thank you, Viral Videos, for this absolute banger from 5 months ago.
Penis into a vagina, and we can then debate how well those serve.
Also, thank you, Viral Videos, for giving me immediate demonetization.
Work, but we want more transformation than that. The critique is not that it's weird and unnatural. It's so pathetically little, and we want more than cross-dressing or changing your sex organs. We want you to be able to change your heart.
South Park has been heavily trolling this guy in the latest. I need to see it. I haven't watched the new South Park series, but I hear it's pretty funny. I haven't watched South Park in a long time, though. I don't.
Change your mind and change your whole.
I want to point out, if you removed his net worth and someone said this, they would think. By the way, if somebody ever clips this moment, let it be known. if a normal person without his net worth said any of this, they would fucking call you crazy. I swear.
Your whole body. And then Orthodox Christianity, by the way, the critique Orthodox Christianity has of this is these things don't go far enough. Like that transhumanism is just changing your body, but you also need to transform your soul. You need to transform your whole self. And so,
right, but the other, wait, I'm sorry. I generally agree with what I think is your belief, that religion should be a friend to science and ideas of scientific
What the fuck?
progress. I think any idea of divine providence has to encompass the fact that we have.
Remember, Peter Thiel is Joe Rogan's handler. This is why.
Have progressed and achieved and done things that would have been unimaginable to our ancestors. But it still also seems like, yeah, the promise of Christianity in the end is you get the perfected body and the perfected soul through God's grace, and the person who tries to do it on their own with a bunch of machines is likely to end up as a dystopian character.
well, it's let's articulate this.
And you can have a heretical form of.
I'm telling you, man. This guy's hair makes him... They call this guy crazy, too, on South Park. They basically display him as, like, the creepiest type of person. Because he is crazy. If you were to say any of the shit, minus his net worth, you would look like a fucking lunatic. You want to fucking live forever and just change bodies? I think it's cool, but normal people would be like, you're fucking insane. For real, the hair, though.
Christianity, right? That says something else.
I don't know. I think the word nature does not occur once in the Old Testament, and so if you and there is a word in which a sense in which the way I understand the Judeo-Christian inspiration is it is about transcending nature. It is about overcoming things, and
I'm telling you, absolute crazy gooner behavior.
And the closest thing you can say to nature is that people are fallen, and that's the natural thing in a Christian sense, is that you're not.
Peter Thiel's not real, guys. He's a robot. Mark Zuckerberg's a lizard. Peter Thiel's not a real person. That guy needs a hair transplant ASAP or shave his head. Just saying. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you all stopping by. My brain has decided to turn off, and it decides when I exit the internet, not Peter Thiel. Most importantly, to like and comment on the video what your favorite type of mayonnaise is, what's your favorite brand, if you like off-brand, if you don't like off-brand, put it in the comments, because knowing the comments, send them to Turkey, for real. Later, bro. Knowing in the comments, YouTube knows that I'm a real person, and I'm based and cool, and I don't hate their platform, and I love everything they're doing at all times. And remember to ask yourself, would you go to Turkey for a hair transplant, or wouldn't you do it for a hair transplant? Remember to wash your moss and wash your shrubs, and don't forget to walk your lobster. Otherwise, you're gay. I'll see you guys in the next video where we're going to discuss future